Hello and welcome. I am Maestra Teacher and this is my 5th grade teaching channel. I've been a teacher for over 20 years. I've taught gen ed and bilingual classes as well. In today's video, I would like to show you my classroom. Yes, my classroom tour video. If you are a brand new teacher or brand new to 5th grade, maybe you are wondering how you should prepare your classroom. A lot of teachers that have taught before in the lower grades sometimes are unsure on how to prepare a 5th grade classroom because they don't want to make it look like a young kid's classroom. Or if you never taught before, you don't know how exactly you should prepare your classroom. There are 3 things I would like to share with you before showing you my classroom. Number 1, I believe that classrooms are unique as the teachers themselves. We are all different, we all have our own personalities, and classrooms should be an extension of that. Ultimately, the way your classroom looks does not determine if you are a bad teacher or a good teacher. And you should not feel bad if the teacher next to you has a mega Pinterest classroom and you don't. However, it is important that you have the essential or what the students will need for their learning. Number 2, you don't have to spend a fortune decorating your classroom. There are plenty of materials at the Dollar Tree store or things that you can create on your own. There's plenty of videos and a source of information in the internet with examples of things you can actually do, even if you're not a crafty person. And the third one, if you're a brand new teacher to a school, make sure that you ask the older teachers, people who've been there before, if there is something that you are not allowed to put in your classroom. For example, maybe you're not allowed to paint your room at your school, or maybe they don't allow fridges or microwaves. So make sure that you ask before you put in something that you're not sure if you can put it or not. Now let's talk about my own classroom. The first thing I would like to tell you is that my classroom, it's very small. I teach 5th grade, so it's very hard to have different centers because I don't have the space, and you will see it in a minute. Also, at our school, we are allowed to paint our classroom, so I did paint my classroom this year blue color. And finally, you will be seeing things that maybe you don't agree with or you don't want to have them in your classroom, or maybe you will not see things that you think should be in your classroom. But as I said in the beginning, your classroom is an extension of yourself, so you decorate as you wish or what you think works for your class.
For example, this is what our school provides for the teachers the first day of school while you are preparing your classroom. These are the things that they will come up to look at your walls to make sure that you have. So you need to find out at your school what is it that they're looking for in your classroom. Believe me, if you have that, you're gonna earn those points.
Let's go ahead now and start my classroom tour.
This is outside my classroom. As you can see, I do have lockers, but I don't use them because our students rotate and they need all their stuff at all times. I use the lockers area as my exhibition area, and the kids really enjoy that everyone in the hallway passes and sees their work. Here we have my front door where I display my name, my classes, my room number, and also the schedule so that everyone knows what class they have at what time of the day. This is an overview of my room, a quick view so you can see how it looks when you enter my classroom. As you enter my room, you can see where I have my first clock. This is also where I post all my lesson plans, where the hall passes are. My classroom rules are on the way there on the bottom. And this is the card where I place my laptop when I'm going to teach using it. Next, we have my area of where I project my lessons. This is a huge screen that is provided to us by the district. Behind it is my first whiteboard that I barely use. In this area, I have my little sofa where they can sit down to read and also doubles as a calm down sofa. I also have my charts for the writing process and my data area where I display more or less how they are doing in class. Students fall into a category of either masters, meets, approaches, or do not meet. I don't display their name, just a number, but they know where they are at all times. This is my anchor chart area. This is where I display the anchor chart of whatever tick we are working on that week. And after I'm done working with that tick, I just display it in another area of the classroom. Anchor charts are excellent and they should be displayed at all times. This next area is what we call at our district the 4 squares area. You have to post here your learning objective each day, your demonstration of learning or DOL, the essential question that kids are going to work on that day, as well as the vocabulary words. If you don't know what a DOL or demonstration of learning is, basically what the students will do at the end of the class to demonstrate that they have learned the material of the day. These read, write, and focus letters I display every year. I bought them at a store called Mardel Christian Store, where they sell materials for teachers that work in a regular school or in a Christian school. Now let's look at the back side of my classroom. I have a bulletin here displaying the different graphic organizers. I love working with graphic organizers. They're excellent for 5th graders. I also have here my microwave, my fridge, and the little cubbies where I keep the materials for each of the tables. I have 4 of them. And every time we're going to work, I have a helper that comes and pick it up for their table. It has crayons, markers, rulers, scissors, everything that they basically need. And it also has sticky notes for an exit ticket whenever it is needed. In this area is where I keep their birthday chart. Every time there's a birthday, I give them a pencil, some sort of sticker, anything, because they love anything. I also have a second clock, as you see there, because no matter where I'm standing in the classroom, I like to always see what time it is. This is my small group table, nothing fancy. As I've told you before, my classroom is small, so I try to have only a few centers at a time. And this is where I work with the when I'm working guided reading or with small groups. I have a light, as you can see, and once the light is on, that means that the rest of the students should be on task at their centers and nobody should be interrupting my guided reading or my work unless, of course, it's an emergency. This card box serves me as a place to keep track of all the copies for the week. I plan my lessons on Friday and I make all the copies of the following week on Friday as well. So I have everything I need organized by day of the week. This right here is my desk. I try to keep it organized and neat. I just have my computer, a calendar, a couple of materials there. But as the school year goes by, it does not look like this. This is then the opposite side of my classroom. This is where I have the vocabulary wall. In the lower grades, you need to have a word wall or a sound wall. In 5th grade, I usually just use the vocabulary wall. This is where I display the English side, the vocabulary for the different readings. I also have my Spanish side. And behind each of these words, there is their definition. So the students can just grab them if they forgot a definition or if we're doing activities. The definitions are in the back. They can also play games with them at any time. I think it's more interactive and better this way. I also have what is known as the bridge, which is the connection between the languages. This is my library area. Students are allowed to check out any books that they want. I have it organized by English, Spanish, fiction, nonfiction, and so on. Students actually go to the main library once a week, so this is just in case they need something to read when they're done early or so on. I have more books on the other side. They're welcome to borrow any of these books. This is my other center. I can use it as a social studies, writing, any kind of center. So if you have a small classroom like mine, you can just alternate different centers. This year, I will be also teaching social studies, so I created a little area here for vocabulary related to social studies class in English and Spanish. I also have some maps and some pictures. I try to display things related to whatever unit we are working. Last but not least is my mood meter. This is related to SEL lessons. Students can take a sticky note and they can post it in whichever color that represents how they're feeling on that day. And then I can see it, we can talk it over and help them out.
Well, there you have it. That is my classroom for this school year. What is your opinion? Write a comment down below. Tell me if you agree with my things, if you disagree, what would you've done differently. And please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support. Like my video, and I'll see you in my next one. See you soon.